Hi, Kenny here. Welcome to Breaking Free Fridays, or welcome back if you've been following the series. It's great to have you here. Today I was guided to talk about people pleasing. Wow, this is a big one. It definitely hits close to home in my own journey. And in working with a lot of people, I know that it's something that a lot of people grapple with. And that opportunity to just become more empowered in this, with this as the invitation, right? So, people pleasing is really interesting. And for a long time, I found myself saying yes to so much in life that wasn't good for me, wasn't healthy, whether it was a toxic relationship or accepting things that weren't okay for way too long, draining job, family demands in a way that even compromised myself, just like the continual saying yes, accepting this, accepting that, saying yes to this, saying yes to that, and sometimes this is coming from a compulsion kind of drive that's behind it. And there's a couple of things that I realized. I had this pattern for many years, and then it felt like all of a sudden I woke up and I'm in a health crisis, totally burnt out, can't hardly function, don't even recognize myself. And yet at that point, I just was I didn't even know where to turn, because so much had basically broken. It was a massive wake up call, and huge invitation. And I took it hook, line, and sinker, because I was not going to live like that anymore. And what is interesting that I uncovered is that people pleasing, especially in an excessive form. So I'm not talking about like being considerate of another person, or even, being considerate of someone else's feelings. I'm talking about a level of people pleasing that's almost automatic in the way that you react or respond to another, a request or a situation, or in relationship with other people. And that level where it's like you almost can't do anything but a people pleasing. It's like that kind of drive. That is actually a trauma response. And sometimes you'll hear it referred to as fawning. And what happens is that in an effort to keep ourselves safe, avoiding conflict is an example of keeping safe. Or another aspect of it in the trauma response is this intense desire and drive to get validation, experience approval, feel accepted, and even to experience love. And we can find ourselves doing this pattern of people pleasing to realize those things. And yet what happens as a result of that is that we end up compromising ourselves in big ways. And we realize this immense split in our energy around, who our authentic self is, our true self, versus who we're showing up. It's like we're putting on this mask to survive, and to realize, something that seems safe, but in essence, we're actually giving all of our power away to another person, who ultimately, they are not really our source of acceptance or validation or love or approval. Yes, it's incredible to experience those things from somebody else, but that true source, that true like reservoir of those incredible things are from within. They're an inherent part of who we are. And one of the things that is a great analogy for this, because this people pleasing often is connected to a sense of not feeling worthy. Sometimes it can be connected to a feeling of not being lovable or fear of abandonment, things like that. Worthiness is often, or not feeling good enough, is a very common one. So I'll go at that angle. But imagine you're looking at a beautiful baby, and you're looking at this beautiful baby, a gift, a miracle, an incredible being of light, and you find yourself questioning, oh, is that baby worthy? We would never ask that. We would never question that, because as a baby, we inherently see the miraculous nature of that human being, of that spiritual being in human form, and the innocence and the wonder and the miracle that is that life. And yet, as life goes on and we experience different things and we innocently misinterpret certain things, we experience real hardship and incredibly difficult things in our life. All of a sudden, we start creating these ideas and these patterns of thinking, these beliefs, these emotional patterns that have us questioning our own worthiness. And yet, that essence that was in the baby to begin with, that is in us. That is us. We are innately and inherently worthy. We are innately and inherently more than enough. You are lovable just because you're you, not because of anything you say, not because of anything you do, not because of saying yes to someone when you really mean no. It's who we are in our core, that source energy within. Our authentic self is just worthy just by existing. And that people-pleasing pattern, that shows up because we're trying to prove that we're enough. And we're seeking that from an external source. We're seeking that from someone else. And oftentimes that starts with our own parents, where we're seeking that from them. And it can continue with other relationships in life as well. It's one of those things that we find ourselves compromising our own well-being for, and at the end of the day, that becomes very very self-destructive, and it can cause a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of issues in our own health and well-being. So you might be wondering, well, what in the world do I do about this? And there are a few things that I want to highlight, because this is definitely something that has a lot of aspects to unpack. But a big piece has to do with resetting and consistently regulating our nervous system. So one of the things when there's unresolved trauma that happens, our nervous system, it is filled with all this stuck energy in it, and it just needs a way out. It needs to be released and let go, because when we're people pleasing, it's an indicator that there's this stuck energy in our system, and there's not the space in our nervous system to ebb and flow with life and to stand in what is best for us and what we want in life. And remember, this isn't about being mean to other people. This isn't about not being a giving person. This is about being true to ourselves, our own needs, and showing up authentically with who we are. Because the reality is, when we are able to be in alignment in that place, we can have connections that are so much deeper, that are so much healthier, that are so much more enriching on all fronts. And it better serves us and our journey, as well as those that we love and that we're standing for. So when you think about that nervous system piece, you want to keep clearing your energy, clearing your mind, clearing the stuff that's stuck in your body. And there are practices and protocols for all of that. But learning how to feel and being okay with your emotions, and the sensations that are represented in the feelings, because they appear in sensations in our body. That's what the feeling is. So oftentimes we just connect to a thought around a feeling, but it's actually a sensation in our physical senses. And if we allow that to move through our body, then it releases. It's not getting stuck and building up and building up. Another big piece is be curious about who you are and putting your relationship with you as a priority, because you are worth knowing, you are worth loving, and that relationship with yourself is as important, if not more important, than any other relationship that you have, because that is how you know how to prioritize your life based on what's authentically aligned with your truth, not based on what's going on outside of us, not based on what this person wants or that person wants, or that person's expectations or this person's expectations. It's about what is true for you authentically in the core of your being. So it's, getting curious, asking yourself questions, journaling about these things too. Like, who am I? What do I love? What am I passionate about? What do I want to do? What fuels my soul? What do I need to know about what is best for me in this moment, for my highest good in this moment? And connecting to yourself, dialoguing with yourself, getting to know who you are, and honoring you in that. And what happens over time, the more you build that relationship with yourself, is it becomes easier and clearer what your priorities are. And it also becomes easier and clearer to set boundaries. And boundaries are healthy. They are important. They're an incredible aspect to healthy relationships. And so it's something that, as people pleasers, boundaries feel really uncomfortable and foreign. And so one thing to remember as you start learning how to set boundaries, how to hold boundaries, is that it's normal that it's uncomfortable. And that uncomfortable feeling does not mean, oh, this is not good for me to do. In fact, it's just an indicator that you're learning a new skill and you're stretching yourself. You're going outside of your comfort zone of what's been normal. But what has been normal in this people pleasing has been really negatively affecting you, and it causes harm to us, right? So I encourage you to, take baby steps with this, with boundaries. You can start small. You don't have to take a really hard leap and a hard line, but you can try little bits at a time. And even with some of the relationships that you feel safest in and that you're most comfortable in, talk to the person and let them know that this is something that you're doing, and have them be an advocate for you in the process, where you're actually testing that out with the other person. And an example of a boundary might be, if somebody asks you to do something, you could just say, I'd love to help, but I can't commit to that right now. And that's all. You don't need to go any further than that. You don't need to justify. That is enough, because that is true for you. So another big piece is self-care. So making sure that you set time and schedule this in, because you want to make it real for you, and take time to do things that honor what is best for caring for you. Whether that's a bath every night, or a cup of hot tea where you're just sitting outside enjoying nature, or snuggling with your dog or your cat, or going to the park with your with your kids and really enjoying the laughter and the joy of being a kid with your kids and going down the slide and swinging and having fun. Tap into that part of you. So there's so many more things that I'm excited to share about you and share about with you, and we will keep exploring this because this is a big one, and it's a big area for breakthrough in greater empowerment and in breaking free. So I'm excited to hear what your thoughts are on this, what you've been experiencing in people pleasing, if that's something that's been a pattern and a habit that you found yourself in as well. And if you like this video, please share it, send a like, that would be great. And if you're interested in hearing about more, you can find out more about my work at karapiercewhitney.com/break free. And you're also welcome to schedule a no obligation call with me. I'd love to hear about what you're experiencing and help you with a breakthrough. So here's to this next level of empowerment for you. Here's to stopping the people pleasing so that you can be authentic and true to yourself. And here is to that next level of breaking free. Have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.